And we are live. Let me get this X space going. Cool. All right. Can I just get a quick audio check from you, Joel?
Audio
Audio
check
check
on
on
both
both
things.
things. Cool. Uh, yep, we're good.
Nice. Just announce it in all these groups here and repost with a big fat dash account.
Sounds good. While you do that, I will get my announcements out on Discord and whatnot. The Threadcast is already running. Let me pin that to the Jumbotron.
How could I forget? I need to shill it on INLEO too.
Yeah, you should find the Threadcast at the top now um, of INLEO. So Vic Van said, Joel, your bass voice is as heavy as the price of Dash.
I mean, which direction though? That's the question.
Yeah, hopefully the right one.
Yeah, I should start doing like trying to do like foghorn low on this stuff and see if it works, see if it pushes it down more. Everyone can get in on Dash at $12 a coin. Oops.
It's a radio voice right there.
Yeah, as I keep on, if you really want a radio voice, as I keep on telling people, a friend of mine, Chuck Williams, has been on my show a bunch of times, and his normal voice is my like trying to go low voice, so he's even better for radio.
Yeah, having a radio voice would definitely make podcasting easier.
Yeah, but you're also at the normal range where everything's fine. Um, you just don't want to be in the pipsqueaky range, you know? You
Very
have a
true.
little, for lack of a better description, like a little bitchy voice. Like that sucks. As long
Yep,
as you don't have that, it's just like you're out of that club. Then you're
right.
fine. You don't need anything too deep.
Yep, I agree with that. Hard to like there's some people that have really good content out there, but their voice is just really hard to hear. Um,
Yeah.
really hard to listen to.
Yeah. The RFK Jr. curse. It's kind of the
Yeah,
more
yeah,
extreme
I
end
think
of
he's
things, though.
got yeah, that is pretty extreme, but I agree with that. He's got such good ideas, but it is hard to kind of listen to him for an extended period of time. I see people are asking for the YouTube link. I updated the main thread, so give it give it give it a few minutes and then refresh. I'll drop it in the threadcast again too. Discord announcements are out. So what I wanted to do today, if we just want to dive in while I finish up here, is talk about all the new integrations that we did for the Dash integration. So some of the new features that just went live. Um, so we improved the cash out UI. We added the ability to buy premium, so INLEO premium with Dash, and also any other crypto that's listed on LeoDex. So now you can literally buy premium using like one or two clicks with Dash. And then also some new wallet features in the INLEO wallet that show the Dash price, and then they show also when you cash out or do any Dash swaps, it'll show under the LeoDex tab on the INLEO wallet. And then we also added one-click Hive swaps to LeoDex. So obviously now that means that Dash is included in that. So you can swap between Hive and Dash or HBD and Dash or Leo on Hive and Dash in one click. So I know that was a big one. I know Joel tested the Hive aggregation technology V1, and I don't know if you had a chance to test V2 yet, but the difference in experience is very noticeable.
Yeah, for sure. I was one of those early people who uh, just went to Leo Decks and just signed in and tried to swap stuff, and then got errors. Realized they didn't have Ethon Arbitrum, and I just went through all that stuff in the early days. And then, of course, I see some bodies along the way as far as other people being like, I want to do this. Oh, they run into some issues too. But as I posted on X and in Leo, etc., this week, I think it was this week. I can't tell the weeks anymore. Life is crazy. Um, I've managed to test out the full function, the full sign up with Key Store, the whole, get some Dash, cash out to Dash, then use that Dash to pay for premium. So go both ways through the swap cycle. Went to the Maya scan for the Maya Block Explorer, make sure that, you're not doing some nonsense sleight of hand to be like through a centralized swap provider. It's like, no, it's actually on the Maya protocol. It's actually working that way. And yeah, it worked, like a charm, basically. I mean, unless you're one of those people that wants to sign up for premium and 30 seconds later is like, why don't I have it? Or something like that. As long as you're willing to wait a few minutes, and I don't mean like 30 minutes to an hour, but like just a few minutes, it's just about as smooth as you can get from my experience. I did it one time. Maybe the second time I try it won't be as nice, but fingers crossed it will because that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I hopefully it'll be just as smooth every time you try as the first time. I was happy that, the first time you tried was really easy. It would have been awkward if it didn't go through. So yeah, we spent a long time testing that, testing those rails and making sure they work, pretty flawlessly. So I so far, and I've been monitoring pretty closely. Save for, on January 5th, there were a few people who tried the, really early days of the V2 swaps. I think there were three that didn't go through. Ever since then, though, we've had a few hundred one-click swaps, and that includes premium payments and cash outs. And all of those have succeeded with no problems. So yeah, ever since January 5th, we're currently at a 100% hit rate, which is great to see. And we'll just again, as these things get smoother and smoother, we'll continue to increase the cap, and the more testing and the more usage we can get, the better it'll get. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. And I think it just really opens the doors. Like before, we were only accepting HBD for premium. So now that we're accepting Dash and other cryptos, it really expands the horizon in terms of, paid INLEO users, which, is obviously a great thing for the Leo economy. Since 100% of those premium payments buy back the Leo token. So that's kind of how we
Yeah.
make this economy go round is, we are, doing things like cash out and Dash, which means that Leo's getting swapped for Dash. So, to close that economic loop, we also have to allow people to buy things with Dash. And I know that, one of the big narratives, for Dash in general is being able to buy stuff. So I'm very happy that now Dash users can spend their Dash on INLEO, in addition to all the, things that you guys have done in the world of the internet and in real life when it comes to, spending Dash and being able to use it.
Absolutely. One thing I think is interesting, kind of an anecdote over the last couple weeks or so. Uh, there's a friend of mine who wanted to be able to have his posts do better on X, and he wanted to be able to write articles as well. Those are premium features, and he is an unbanked living on crypto guy, and he I don't know if he has access to the same sort of you know uh, intermediary services that I do that kind of help me bridge this gap. And so he literally just said, look, can you gift me premium? I'll pay you in Dash for it. And so that's literally what happened. And so there's demand for this kind of thing, and he needed to go through some like wonky I know me a guy kind of workaround for this, whereas with INLEO, you can just go there and pay. That's it.
Yeah, that is that is a huge goal of mine, which is everyone who's unbanked and if you actually go back to the initial, mission statement of Leo, which was, our 6 year anniversary is coming up in July this year. Um, it was to democratize financial knowledge and access. So, it's always been kind of finance focused for me. And when it comes to access, people who are unbanked and people who, may just not want to use banks or want to, reduce fees by not using them, need access to a lot of different tools. And this creating a platform like X with a lot of creator opportunities has been really important to me for a long time, especially as someone who's created content on the internet for a very long time. Um, with creator subscriptions, you'll be able to pay. So you can't. So the first use case that we launched is the ability to buy premium using Dash. The next kind of key integration is going to be being able to buy creator subs using Dash. And you can already cash out your creator subs earnings with Dash. So that kind of happens auto magically already. And the reason why is because when you earn creator subs revenue, you earn it as HBD. And then when you cash out, since you're a key store user, when you cash out to Dash, it converts your HBD to Dash alongside any Leo that's sitting in your account. So you're already able to cash out your creator subs earnings using Dash. So to close that loop, allowing people to buy creator subs using Dash is going to be a kind of next key step. And that should come soon. Like I said, we're just making sure that the payment rail works really well when it comes to INLEO Premium, and then from there it's kind of a literal copy and paste for creator subs.
Yeah, for sure. Having that last little thing close the loop. It's kind of funny because in all these years of using crypto and crazy tech, I've kind of come to um, I've come to appreciate UX magic. And magic is where something just works. And when it just works, it never just works. It's always like so many, it's like a weird like steampunk machine, like a watch or something in the background with all these gears. It's always something, it's never that easy. But to the user, it appears to be easy. It just worked. They ignore all the sleight of hand. And it
Yep.
is kind of crazy to see how just the ability to be like to be just like native, like crypto native, where you just like, I got a Dash wallet, I make the key store, and then there you go. I start using it. And then I can just buy subscriptions with it. And it just works. And then I get payouts. Oh, it's all in that same one currency that I've been using the entire time. All the other blockchains are in the background. And the subscribe to other creators is that one little missing thing where then you hit it and then it starts asking you for HBD. And you're like, what the hell is this? I don't have this. And then, unless you've already, although actually that's a good question. If you don't cash out yet, let's just say you're a Dash only user and you've earned enough, you say you've earned like 12, $13 or whatever, and you want to subscribe to someone on um, a creator subscription, you can do that if because you would have enough HBD you had not yet converted to cash out. Is that right or not?
If you say that again, so if you're sitting in,
Yeah, say
you've
I've owned
earned Dash but haven't
$30.
cashed out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And then if I haven't cashed out, I still technically have HBD that hasn't been cashed out yet. So I could just subscribe there. It can't be from my cashed out earnings quite yet.
Right. I would kind of consider that you're sitting on pending cashed out earnings,
Yes.
which actually means that there's liquid HBD and Leo sitting in your account waiting if you do want to cash that out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you would be able to just subscribe using the HBD sitting there, um, pretty easily. Uh, and that's just obviously because you have HBD, which most people don't. So you have it because you've earned it and haven't cashed it out yet. Um, so yeah, you definitely could just go through that method and subscribe to a
Mm-hmm.
creator sub, and then you kind of avoid the whole routing through Dash through Maya, and then
Mm-hmm.
Arbitrum Leo to regular Leo, and then Leo to HBD, and then HBD sent to the creator.
Yeah. So until the buy subscriptions with Dash is kind of built in, that seems like a good sort of workaround to just get in there. Just don't cash out right away if you're going to be subscribing to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be that. And then you also could, let's say that you like accidentally cashed out or didn't know about this and you
Hmm.
already cashed out or whatever the reason is. Or let's say that maybe you haven't earned enough to subscribe to another creator, but you want to subscribe to a creator, and you're coming from Dash. Um, Now that we've got the one-click swaps, you can actually do a Dash to HBD swap using LeoDex. So you can use your same
Hmm.
key store that you sign into INLEO, use that key store on leodex.io, and then you can do Dash in the top and then HBD in the bottom. And then you can buy, let's say 10 HBD using $10 worth of Dash. And then that HBD will land in your connected key store wallet in that Hive account. And then you can go to INLEO and then subscribe to creators using the HBD you just bought.
Very nice. And the LeoDex, does the LeoDex interface have the one-click cash out enabled yet, or is that just in the InLeo interface so far?
That's in the INLEO interface. I don't know that we'll move it to LeoDex at all. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll move it to LeoDex. I actually think what's slowly happening is that we're adding LeoDex features to InLeo. The
Hmm.
goal of InLeo is to be like the one UI to, rule them all, and we don't need to have, 10 different interfaces to do things.
Yeah,
That being said, I mean
absolutely.
the actual swapping mechanisms, the cross-chain swapping, will probably always live on a separate UI just because it's such a heavy load on the interface. Like we looked at what it would look like to just integrate LeoDex on top of InLeo, and it just wouldn't make sense from a kind of efficiency and speed and performance perspective. But what we did with and you saw this when you tested the buying premium with Dash feature. What we actually did was we created kind of an iframe system between LeoDex and InLeo. So you were still on InLeo, but it had a pop-up window where you did a LeoDex swap through, like you're still sitting on InLeo, but the pop-up is actually LeoDex. So we kind of iframed it in and then allowed you to do the payment. And the way another kind of thing that we had to figure out was how do we use your connected key store without you having to reconnect. So actually the devs, when I gave them this feature and they started building it and then they, gave it to me to test, um, one thing that we changed was that you had to reconnect your key store after you selected your payment method, because your key store essentially was connected on InLeo but not connected on LeoDex, and the iframe was LeoDex. So we found a workaround where we could take your key store connection from InLeo to that pop-up window through LeoDex,
Hmm.
so that you didn't have to double connect to the same key store, and then you could do the payment. So, long story short, I think a lot of LeoDex features will slowly make their way to INLEO. One thing that a lot of people like Taskmaster and a few others have been asking me about is if we get AI agents, that can where you can essentially write a thread and say, trade five of my HBD for five HBD worth of Hive. And then it would actually just do a LeoDex transaction in the background, once you confirm that. Um, so yeah, I think LeoDex features would slowly make their way to InLeo. So things like the cash out are probably just going to stay on InLeo. And then we'll try to find, maybe pooling features and other things can happen just directly in the InLeo wallet.
Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, um, I think that this has been something I've been sort of exploring all along. Like just the swap interface thing is just a right now it might be a heavy hitter in the Dex world of like Thorchain and Maya protocol and stuff, but I think that that's ultimately like that's kind of like the noise. The signal is built-in cross-chain swaps behind the scenes, kind of like we have. The Inleo standard for cash outs, I think, is kind of what is going to take the Dex volume to the next level, is when we start to have that built in, that kind of thing built into all sorts of things, where um, you don't, professional traders being the bulk, the vast majority of DeFi kind of activity today is, I think, just a sign of a very early ecosystem. At the end of the day, I mean, think about it. Like, what if, let's just say 20 years from now, we had like a billion INLEO users, let's just say. And don't you think that that would be the vast majority of, DEX trading volume would be on something like that? Would be people just cashing in and out through that rather than just a few traders going trading on big, big stacks? I would think so at least.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's going to be, you look at like a normal economy, right? And there are, people that are trading out there. Obviously, like, there's the big money and then, just people in general trading assets. But the far majority of economic activity is not trading. It's using the currency. It's buying stuff at the grocery store, or buying a car or buying a house. Like, the main tool of economies is actually spending and creation of goods and services. Um, so yeah, I would think, if you looked at a platform like INLEO and compared it to, a cross-chain swapping interface, if INLEO can reach something like 1 billion users and, have, critical mass in terms of people cashing out, in terms of people buying premium, actually, if we just use like X as like a good little framework, like, imagine that X, I don't know if those numbers have been posted since X went private, but imagine that X has like 1 million paying, monthly premium subscribers. Um, if INLEO had 1 million paying monthly premium subscribers, that would be $10 million each month that is flowing through LeoDex, just kind of autonomously in the background. And that doesn't include the fact that like you've then got rebalancing of pools. So INLEO lives, or the Leo token lives on multiple blockchains with all different pricing mechanisms because it's based in different assets and they're different pools. So every time a $10 swap happens, everything else being equal, another $10 has to come through the system to arbitrage the price back to
Hmm.
be even with the other pools. So, $10 million in swap volume could actually mean $20 million or maybe even more in swap volume when you include all the arbitrage that's going to happen around that. So, yeah, I think you're right that like a lot of this economic activity will lead to massive trading volume on the back end. And then, you see the arbitrage and the traders kind of filling in the holes around that, I think is what you would see. And then, by the way, all the cash outs and everything also being, economic activity. So, every time someone cashes out $10, that's also $10 going through LeoDex. And then if they then come back later and buy something with $10, that's another $10 going back through, and then all the arbitrage that's going to happen around that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, it just the volume just kind of keeps going. As Alex likes to say, the flywheel. You know, the flywheel effect. It keeps just going, and yeah, the it's kind of funny because um, I've kind of been watching the different dexes for a little while, and the Maya protocol rewards that you get for providing liquidity are not super high right now because they're real. Because there's no token inflation at all. There's no subsidies. It's just are people paying? There you go. That's what you get. And at the well as Thorchain, you'd have a subsidy for a while, and still, as far as I understand, it's still going. Now, the difference is over time, you do kind of hit a suddenly then all at once sort of moment when then all of a sudden you have tons of volume coming through kind of this one kind of thing. An allegory for that is Bit Refill, which is a fantastic tool for living all on Dash, for example. You can kind of use it for everything. Someone asked about what are some tools about Dash, and I dropped some links in the threadcast there. But Bitrefill was one of the very first apps that was heavily promoting the Lightning Network when it first came around a few years ago into public use, and usage just never picked up. And in my opinion, for very obvious reasons, because Lightning kind of sucks. But um, in their last update, they did get a significant bump from the integration of just a single app. There was just a single popular Argentinian Lightning Network app that integrated Bitrefill right into the app, and then you just saw that bump on there, kind of like INLEO taking off, and then hopefully we should be able to see a bump of Hive usage from see it from space kind of thing, where you see the individual app from like what happened there, and it's like, oh, that's those guys. And at some point we're going to see the same thing when you have tons of people going in and out with a variety of different cryptos, but hopefully mostly Dash, at least in the beginning. then you're going to start to see that kind of bump really happen. And I've been watching like the Leo Dex volume every few days. I'm just looking on the Maya scan stuff, the interface wars tab. It's broken right now, but whatever. When it's fixed, looking in there to be like, I can see like testing bumps in the Leo Dex volume, here and there. Oh, it's obviously someone was testing out some stuff. But then now we're starting to see a little bit more consistent. And then eventually, especially when you get that first wave of cash outs, you're going to see that really go up.
Yeah, yeah, just consistent swap volume. I've definitely always been more interested in like where we can get consistent revenue, consistent cash outs, consistent swaps across the UI. How can we create, that consistent volume over a long period of time and essentially build a moat around, and I actually talked about this a lot, when it came to LeoDex, and why we built it in the first place is, why wouldn't we just use any other Maya interface and just not build LeoDex and just focus on building INLEO? And a big reason was that I thought we could build a really big moat around LeoDex because of the Hive aggregation technology. Our connection to Hive is something that obviously no other token on Maya has, which is that we have the Leo pool on Hive and the Leo pool on Maya through the Arbitrum network. And then we also have the bridging tech to go to and from Arbitrum with Leo. So we're kind of uniquely positioned to build a big moat around Leo Dex and kind of built-in swap volume, which is what you're kind of getting at. Um, so yeah, I think Leo Dex is very uniquely positioned to get a lot of that swap volume, and yeah, my scan's been down, but I usually check the volume every day. At least the MyScan interface wars section is down. So that's usually where I was also tracking the trading volume. Now I've been looking at some of the trading volume on the @LeoDex account on Hive. Um, so to just like not to get too technical, to just give like a quick rundown of how this works, like with cash outs and premium payments, et cetera, and the one-click swaps. Um, we essentially took the model that Maya, Thorchain, and Chainflip have, where they use memos to conduct cross-chain swaps. We essentially took that model and we built it on Hive. So the reason why we're able to do the one-click swaps is because we now have the @LeoDex account doing essentially intelligent memos that do that's how the cross-chain swaps are actually conducted. So it's actually really fascinating. Like we basically built Maya slash Thorchain slash Chainflip on Hive, and we're calling it the Hive aggregation technology V2. And that's how all those swaps are now happening. Whereas before you had to click like 8 times because it was, you confirming each step of the transaction. Now you hit one button, it sends it to this contract that's doing intelligent memos, and then it all happens in the background. So like if you close the UI after that, it'll still happen, and eventually you'll just get the funds in your wallet, whatever your chosen input output was. And I also saw a good question from Alex in the Threadcast, said trying to swap $50 of HB or Hive to Dash right now. Does LeoDex still require Arbitrum ETH for gas? And then Ahmad Manga said, now I'm also interested if ARB fees are required too. So with the V1 model, you also had to have Arbitrum gas. So this was like another roadblock we had is obviously a lot of Hive users didn't have just Arbitrum ETH sitting in an Arbitrum wallet waiting to use the Hive aggregation technology. So we built a gas faucet where if you had some Leo in your account, your Leo would be used for the gas. What we've done with V2 is we abstracted that completely. So you don't need any Arbitrum ETH in your wallet. You literally don't need anything but the input currency, and then it'll do everything else for you. So the Arbitrum ETH part of things was removed because now it's a smart contract, which has its own Arbitrum ETH, and that's baked into the fees that you pay when you do the swap. So no, the long story short, no Arbitrum ETH gas is needed anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's very nice. And that's also just on a greater note for crypto, gas fees suck, or having gas tokens and dust tokens suck. It's so bad. Like,
Yeah.
and that was like I used very little. Like I used ETH here and there and some token stuff here and there. Actually, before ETH, I used Counterparty. I don't know, the OGs remember Counterparty on Bitcoin. But where you needed, and that was my first exposure to gas tokens, where I'm like, why can't I move this random shitcoin I want? Oh, it's because I don't have Bitcoin in this wallet, so I need to put Bitcoin as the gas fee in there. And so swapping around with Thorchain and Maya and stuff has exposed me to a lot of just tokens that I did not realize I needed gas for all over the place. And it's like, okay, I'm moving this thing from Polygon, so I need Polygon for the gas. And then I move it to, but then the Arbitrum one, I needed Arbitrum, but no, I don't need Arbitrum. I need ETH on Arbitrum. But then I got ETH on the mainnet that I need. And just like, oh my gosh, it's so such a pain in the butt. And
Yep.
now just the one click thing, like, gas is for gas is for like infra providers and stuff. And that's something that I think that interesting in the Dash world is the with the evolution chain credits, which are Dash bridged over to the chain. In a lot of UIs are largely just like hidden. You just top up with credits once in a while, and then you just why do you need to see how many you have until it's just time to top up again? It's just not like I'm sure a lot of interfaces will end up showing it, but otherwise it's just like having gas all like you try to pretend like you don't need gas at all if you can. In
Exactly. Yeah,
fact,
and Leo Dex won't mention anything about gas when you're
yeah,
doing these high aggregation swaps. So you're exactly right. Completely remove it.
yeah, and that's the little nugget of UX wisdom that I hope that anyone who's out there building these kind of stuff can kind of take is uh, if you find a way to inject gas along the way of a user's journey without them knowing, you become the UX god because it's just the sleight of hand that makes them forget there's gas. Like every time you swap into a token, it automatically provides some of the gas with it. And you're just hoping that, then by the time you swap it, you use up all the gas, etc. And so, yeah, just like if every single time at certain intervals you auto gas up, it's almost like the like hybrid vehicles when you hit the brake pedal and it recharges the battery doing that. It's just kind of like almost baking in the recharges into your daily life so you don't even notice it. So yeah, that's
Yep.
just
That's a
little
good
little
way.
nugget
I
right
like that
there.
analogy. It's a great analogy. Vic Van said high aggregation swaps on Leo Dex needs no gas fees. Where have you been for the last couple minutes? We there are no gas fees, or at least the gas fees are baked into the swap fee. Um,
Hmm.
so it's there's no gas needed in your wallet, or more T said auto gas. I like the way Joel put it that it's kind of like a hybrid engine. You're just the recharge is happening in the background. You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah. And like for the even if you had an entirely electric car like a Tesla, if you had like solar panels or something built into the roof where based on your work commute, you never have to charge it because it's sitting at rest in your driveway or in the work driveway long enough that you never fully run out of battery enough to have to stop to charge it. It just gets you to work and then it's recharging while you're there and then it just gets you back. And the way like that's the UX magic is baking in those mundane little things, which is kind of funny how like people in most of the world use automobiles, like gas-powered automobiles, and those things are a pain, is if you think about it, because you have to not only add gas all the time, but then you have to add or change oil, and you also have to have a battery, which auto charges. Thankfully, they baked that into the car UX, but then sometimes you need to replace the battery and just all the maintenance stuff around a car it's a lot of stuff for someone who's never dealt with this. I'm sure crypto could be the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it just takes time. Eventually these things get a lot easier. And, you look at cars like even 50, 20, 50 years ago, and it was a lot more manual labor to keep them running. Now they just kind of, you get in and you go. Um,
It just works.
it just works. That's the goal. Let's see. You got some decent questions in the thread cast. Um, One Brando asked about would it technically be possible to have a swap.dash on L2 similar to Leo power, and by staking we'd have dash voting power. Kind of an interesting thing to like theorize about. I don't know that it would be possible because well, it technically is possible, obviously, but the Dash would then have to have like a rewards pool system. So I think the kind of easy bypass to that is, Leo has, all the mechanisms in place and, a rewards pool. So if you stake Leo, then you do votes on INLEO and then you earn Dash from the rewards pool on Leo. So kind of a
Yeah.
workaround to the same end, kind of to the same end effect.
Yeah, there's this company that we work with pretty closely called CrowdNode out of Denmark, and they basically allow anyone to deposit right from the Dash Mobile wallets or other places. And then they run master nodes and Evo nodes in the background and then give their depositors their share, minus a fee of the rewards that come from that. So it's like a one-click stake thingy, and they also let you vote on governance proposals, even though So like if you're 100 people all voting across a few different master nodes, then it just kind of like combines and aggregates the votes and then votes with those nodes accordingly. So um, that is kind of a cool thing. That's one thing I would like to do in the coming years is get some more advanced Dash staking features for smaller people, for smaller holders kind of built in. Because right now the system works great, but I think if there's a lot more ways to do that, that'd be good.
Yeah, more options is tends to be a good thing. More options
Yeah.
for simplicity, that is.
Yeah, cool guy 222 said. His INLEO team is doing a lot of hard work to onboard people to Hive. No other team has even tried 10% of this. Really wonderful work. It's not like we're not learning a lot from that comment, but I think it is important to highlight because um like there's a lot of cool things go. There's a few cool projects I can name in the Hive ecosystem. But like there's a reason why we started talking. We're talking serious business with the INLEO team first, is because it's just like not only was the tech a big part of it, of course, was the tech was set up already with like the Maya stuff, but another big part is just like ready to start delivering, ready to start fixing bugs in a timely manner, ready to just provide things, ready to co-market, ready to actually get lots of people on board. And I feel like there's a lot of the Hive ecosystem is kind of comfortable doing the same things they've been doing for a while, and then another chunk is building a lot of cool stuff, but it's not quite production ready yet. It's not quite ready to just do the go 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 that we've kind of been doing over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, when we started talking about a lot of this stuff, it was at Hive Fest in Croatia, and it just seemed like a idea for the future. And now, almost everything we talked about, that day is live and real. And
Mhm.
it's, that was September, and only a few months ago where we were talking about these things. So yeah, I I hope it's pretty obvious to everyone on Hive that INLEO, has continued to innovate and will continue to do so on Hive and bring a lot of these, features to to the blockchain. I think it's just um, it's a matter of being willing to be wrong, being willing to kind of step out, put yourself out there and do a lot of these things, and just try and experiment. And, when something doesn't work, find another way to make it work. Like originally we were gonna, have the ability to just, use like the Dash Pay mobile app to sign into INLEO. And then we kind of went down the rabbit hole of like, well, what if we just use Key Store, which includes the Dash wallet? And then there's other ways that the user can then kind of customize their experience. And you've talked about this in videos and other places, Joel, is being able to then take the Dash wallet out of your key store or import it into the Dash Pay wallet, and there's just a lot more optionality because of that. So
Mhm.
we didn't like run away from the problem and get discouraged by the fact that we were, couldn't figure out a way to directly integrate, sign up with a Dash wallet. We just found a way to do it and found a workaround. And a lot of what the INLEO team does is, we have an idea and we say, okay, this is our end goal. And we're trying to get to that end goal, and we're really willing to take whatever route it takes to get there. Um, so, as of today, INLEO is doing, more than a third of really all transactions on Hive. It's more than a third of all comments on Hive. And that's only continuing to
Man.
grow month by month. And with all these Dash users. I think it's just going to continue to grow, and now we're also doing some of the most on-chain payments as well. So I was talking to someone yesterday about this, but the Leo Pool account, which is the premium payments account, is doing more HBD transactions, I think, than any other project on Hive. If anyone out there wants to correct me, they can. I just haven't seen any. And I think that's going to continue to grow, especially now there's more payment options, and they all settle in HBD. So with all these new rails and technological improvements, it's just continuing to stack up, and that's
Yeah.
been a big goal of mine.
Yeah, so I saw this question from Cynthia uh, Adepukunmi, and she said, off topic, I want to participate in the referral program. Which is better? Tell my referrals to sign up via the Keystore option or tell them via normal Hive sign up? Now, I answered in a comment, Keystore all the way. And do you disagree on that?
Do I disagree with the key store? Which part of the key
Yeah.
store?
So basically, if I'm going to sign up, if I'm telling people, here, sign up, here's my referral link, join me on INLEO, and they're like, how should I sign up? They should always do Keystore, in my opinion, over Hive Signer and some of these Keychain and some of these other things. Would you agree that Keystore is the best way for most people?
Yeah, I talked about this a few days ago as well. I think Keystore is by far and away the best login method that's ever been built for Hive. Again, one of the things where if someone wants to prove me wrong, they can. But the ability to sign up in under 30 seconds, and you download a file to your computer. You obviously set a encryption password, and then you save your seed phrase, on like a piece of paper or somewhere not on the same device as your key store file. That's just a general good crypto practice with wallets.
Mhm.
Um, being able to do that and then have instantly a Hive account, a Bitcoin account, a Dash account, an ETH account, like all these accounts rolled into one in under, 30, 60 seconds. Um, it's truly incredible, and it gives you a lot of security when you think about it. Your Hive keys, your Hive private keys are all encrypted in that file, and you can
Mhm.
decrypt them at any time. You can decrypt any of your other private keys at any time. Um, and then if you lose those, hopefully you did the right thing and you have a separate piece of paper with that seed phrase on it. And then you can just grab that seed phrase and then you can use the restore key store option. Um, on the INLEO UI, and then you can get that key store file back if you lost it.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm going to have to. So, like from my perspective, because I think about um, how do we set people up. It seems like if you start with a key store file, um, like you get basically access to everything. You get to run InLeo, you get to do all the Maya interfaces and Thorchain interfaces and other stuff like that. You can put that seed phrase into your Dash Pay wallet and do all that stuff. You just kind of get everything. And then I saw some hack the other day posted about on InLeo about if you go to Keychain, the Hive little extension, you can put in your username that you registered with Keystore, and you put in your seed phrase as like the password, and it will actually get your keys into Keystore, so you can then access Hive ecosystems that don't yet have anything related to Keystore or Dash or other coins in there. So for me, it seems like you not only do you get like a one-click setup to all the kinds of ecosystems, but then you can use that to get everywhere. Whereas it seems like so like I got a keychain file. I'm an old school Hive person. It sounds like right now I there's no easy way for me to tie that to a new key store file for my existing Hive account. It seems like it's like harder to go the other way. So just from that UX perspective, it just seems like everyone should start with key store, and then later you can always like extrapolate out the Hive to the Hive keys and keychain or something.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, and Ahmad Manga mentioned as well. I think Keystore is the best option if you're familiar in any capacity with crypto because you obviously know about seed phrases and private keys. And then maybe if you're a more like Web2 normie, like if you're onboarding your grandma, maybe X or Google is better because it's they've done that probably on other apps where it says like log in with Google. So it's a much more familiar experience. Ahmad Manga also made the point that those are light accounts. So if you do X or Google, you actually like it's a light and full self custody of that account. So if you wanted to restore it, you can do so, and you can regain access as long as you don't lose access to your Web 2 account. That being said, if the Web 2 ecosystem decided to ban INLEO or ban our infrastructure that uses, piggybacks off of them, then you would also lose
Mhm.
your account. So that's why we call them light accounts. And if you have, I've always said this, if you have more than like $10 worth of crypto in one of those light accounts, I would recommend converting it to a full Hive account, which is a process you
Mhm.
can do in the settings page. So yeah, I mean, I think,
Hmm.
like Joel's UX, I do think familiarity with crypto, or you have a little bit of patience and you're willing to learn about, seed phrases and how that stuff works, which is, pretty general crypto stuff. It's easy to learn. It's not unique to what we've built here. It's literally a general practice in crypto. Um, So yeah, and you were mentioning, Ahmad Manga was the one who posted that thread, explaining that you can use your seed phrase, and then, for example, go to Hive Keychain and you can copy and paste your seed phrase when you import your account, and it'll import all your private keys into Keychain. So that's actually, it's a feature. It's not a bug or something we didn't see. The way we built Hive into the Key Store wallet is actually by using the seed phrase as your master password. So, if you're not, and this
Mhm.
can get into the weeds, but I'll try to keep it high level. If you're not familiar with Hive keys, there's like 5 different Hive keys. You've got your you got your master password, you've got your posting key, you've got your active key, you've got your memo key, you've got your owner key. So your other keys, so like your posting active, et cetera, are all derived from your master password. In Theoretically, your master password can be any string of text. So what we did
Mhm.
was we made your master password the same as your key store seed phrase. So that's why if you go to Hive Keychain, for example, it's asking you for your master password. If you paste your seed phrase from a key store wallet into Hive Keychain, through a
Yeah, it's the
Keystore
same
signed up
thing.
account, it's the same thing as your master password. So now Keychain is able to say, "Oh, I have your master password. Let me derive your posting active memo, et cetera, keys from what you just pasted." So yeah, it is it is a really cool kind of feature of the way we built Hive into the Keystore wallet.
Yeah, it's so in that way, and I apologize for everyone for getting technical sometimes. Uh, how would the reverse process go for that? As far as you already have a Hive account with the master password, etc. before Keystore came around, and now you would want to. Now I understand this hasn't been built out into like a UI yet, but as far as if you did theoretically want to then retroactively associate an existing Hive account with the key store, kind of how would one go about doing that? Because a key store is just a text file that has all these keys in it that is encrypted with a with password encrypted, right? So how would you end up doing that? Would you yeah, anyway, what do you think
Yeah,
technically?
it's something I've been looking into, and we talked about it. Um, So, we're trying to find, again, kind of going to what I had just talked about a few minutes ago, where, we have an end goal in mind, and then we figure out the workaround to get there. So this is how the INLEO team works, and you can kind of see it in real time with what we're trying to do now. So we're trying to make what you just said, which is to retroactively connect a Hive account to a key store file. So right now, the only solution we have is to actually change your master password to be a new seed phrase that then creates a new key store wallet, or to be the same as an existing. So like if you have a key store, you then take your seed phrase and then you have to change your Hive master password to that seed phrase. And if you
Hmm.
did that, then you can retroactively connect, a key store to a Hive account that already exists. Um, the problem with that is that I don't think most Hive people want to go out there and change, because once you like I just said, when you change your master password, it's going to change all of your private keys for your account. So I don't think that your average hiver is going to want to do that. So what we're trying to figure out now is, can we figure out some kind of workaround, potentially to create a new key store and turn the seed phrase into, or turn whatever master password you have now into the seed phrase of that key store. The problem with that is that the seed phrase has to be, kind of a certain format. So, we have a few ideas, and this is kind of what we're playing with, today and kind of this week is, what if we're able to use your master password, create an encryption algorithm that then turns that master password into a normal seed phrase. So it will create a scenario where you're going to have a new seed phrase that's derived from your master password that already exists on that Hive account. Sounds really complicated, but again, with the way we build
Yeah.
stuff, the UI for this would be like seamless. It'll be, okay, I have
Yeah.
a Hive account. I want to make a new key store derived from the same master password as my Hive account. You'll plug your master password in. It'll use our algorithm to turn that into a seed phrase to then generate a key store, and then now those things will be connected. Hopefully, I
Yeah.
explained that. Okay.
That does, to me, that does make sense. It does probably, I would personally think resetting the master password seems like the faster, easier way to do things. Now it does seem like the worst you could do with that is now you get signed out of everything, and now you just have to reauthorize your system. So like if like what am I signed into right now? I'm signed into INLEO, of course. I'm signed into PeakD. I'm signed into Hive.blog, and that's kind of, and then 3Speak, I think. And then, there might be a couple others, but like I guess there's some people who are like Hive hardcores who have like 80 different things they're in, and they have to just go on a signing spree if they had to do that. So that's one thing. That's the one way to like retrofit everything. And of course, I'm waiting for there to be a nice smooth thing so I can kind of do that because right now I'm in Hive only land, which I'm very happy to be in, of course. Don't get me wrong. But now here's another question. If it's just for INLEO cash outs, is there a possibility, or how hard would it be to engineer where in the settings page you just drop in a crypto address or maybe extended public key or something again, which would then derive an address every time, but just an address, and then have a cash out button to that address, and then you just sign with keychain whatever, and it just does the one click cash out to that. How hard would that be to do, and just never touch key store at all, but still just get, aggregated payouts straight to something like Dash? How hard would that be?
Yeah, it's that wouldn't be, in theory, that wouldn't be hard. My thing with that is that we're also trying to give people the optionality to sign in with KeyStore. So like a lot of people have asked, well,
Hmm.
what if I want to sign in with KeyStore? So yeah, you could, in theory, we could just add it so that you could just paste in an address. And I think that this could be something that we add in the future for just to have more optionality. Um,
Hmm.
you could just paste in an address, and then our system would then, put some sort of transaction on chain. Most likely what would happen is you'd paste an address in the settings page, and then we would broadcast a custom JSON from your account, your Hive account, with that address in the custom JSON. And then our database, since it reads from the Hive blockchain, will read that address as connected to your Hive account, since we can look for a unique, because what you don't want is someone figuring out a way to exploit this. So the way around that is to have your account broadcast the custom JSON so that only your account can either, set or change whatever, dash address you just pasted in there. And then now we've connected it in our, cash out system. The only thing is then you can't log into INLEO using that dash address. Obviously, you log in
Hmm.
the same way you did
Yeah.
before, and now it's just attached by, kind of a, not necessarily a centralized database since we're using Hive as the database, but a centralized watchtower that's watching the Hive database. So it doesn't
Yeah.
give you the same kind of flexibility, sign in method and security, but it would be a viable workaround to at least, the
It's a
caching out.
band-aid.
It's a band-aid. Yeah, exactly, which is kind of why I didn't pursue it. And then also, if you wanted to then buy premium using Dash, you wouldn't be able to, because we're not able to broadcast transactions from just a pasted Dash address.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it seems like, um, yeah, it does seem like now, you know, I'm not sure if anyone's gonna get butthurt by this kind of, prediction, but it does seem like as things go on, especially once you have the ability to upgrade legacy Hive keys to a Hive key store bundle, and I think that eventually that's going to be the overall the dominant way of using INLEO because you just get so many features that you just did not have. Like if you're already a Hive person, that's all you use is Hive and HBD and all those kinds of things. You're already fine, I guess. But it's just the ability to cash out to any coin, buy with any coin, and without having to go through all this other nonsense. It seems like it would be a huge advantage to just be a key store person. And so, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Now, here's another, I guess, annoying question on that. Um, well, let me actually read this comment first before going there. Ahmed said, you're thinking I'm signed into 5 sites. I'm thinking I'm signed into 10 plus sites on 3 different devices. That's 30 plus signouts I'd have to deal with. Yeah, yeah. So I get it. No, my bad for thinking everyone should just reset their password. But anyway, what would happen if, let's just say, there might already be a few options, but let's just say there is a either a wallet connect or something similar like the control wallet, the extension wallet, or things like that support coins like Dash and stuff for a sign in. So just like how when you go to a My interface or a Thorchain interface, you can sign in with you can connect your MetaMask wallet. What if, let's just say, MetaMask or an equivalent adds Dash now? Um, how easy would it be to do you wouldn't have to like reinvent the wheel to just let people sign in with that, would you?
To sign in with the MetaMask wallet.
Something like that. Let's just say Control, which is a MetaMask competitor, is in the
Right.
process of adding Dash at some point. And if they do, and so you could just be, oh, I'm going to use my extension wallet to sign into all my interfaces. How easy
Hmm.
would it be to do that as I guess, a replacement for Key Store?
It's a good question.
Or here's another sort of question. What if you took your Key Store um, recovery phrase and put it into Control or MetaMask or whatever? And then when you sign it, it still should deliver the same master password, back end for things. It should be easy to just like retrofit that, right? To where you add a sign in with MetaMask option, but then just say, remember, you gotta create it through like the key store method first, and then you can just use that. Everyone in the
Yeah.
chats, their heads are blowing up right now. I apologize. I thought about this. I just had to get it out.
Yeah, in theory, obviously this being without me looking at it at all, the way MetaMask wallet works is that you similarly have a seed phrase and then they derive your, EVM private and public key from that from that seed phrase. So, the key stores use essentially the same technology. They're just doing it for multiple chains at the same time, right? So,
Yeah. So Ahmed also commented as well, if you're using the control wallet, you already have a key store wallet. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm taking his word for it as someone who probably knows more than me.
yeah, because well, essentially a control wallet is just a key store wallet inside of an extension. So I think that's what he
Yeah.
means. So technically
Oh,
you do
there
already
you
have a
go.
key store wallet. It's just inside that extension. So if you've ever used XDeFi, which is now control, if you've ever used it, you get a seed phrase and you get um a encryption key. I'm just looking up. So I was looking up mine to just double check. Um, so when you set up in a control wallet, you get a backup recovery code. You have a key, you have an encryption password. So you have an encryption password, a backup recovery code. So that's not a seed phrase. But then you do also get a JSON file, which I believe is this. Yeah, it is a seed phrase. So yeah, in theory, that would just require us being able to interact with control. So let's just forget about MetaMask for now, but assume MetaMask would likely be somewhat similar. Ahmad Manga
Hmm.
did say in the chat that MetaMask can be used without those seed phrases now. That's like a newer thing that they added, I think, over the last couple of years. But just assume we're looking at control wallet. As long as the UI can read and interact with the control wallet, it should be fine. The only thing is we would need to, in order to create a Hive wallet for you, we would need to be able to get your seed phrase from Control Wallet, and I don't believe that they would hand that out. Um, I don't even know if it's inside the wallet. It would be something that you like save separately. So I think what you would need to do is similar to how, so like what I just mentioned is like you can if you lose your key
Mhm.
store, you can take your seed phrase that you wrote down, your, 12, 24 words, whatever, and you can
Mhm.
paste them into INLEO, and then you can derive your key store file, as long
Yeah.
as you have that seed phrase. So what I think we would be able to do is if you want to use your control wallet with INLEO, and to sign up and log in, you would need to just one time, you would need to take your seed phrase and do like the import process. Um, in order
Yeah.
for us to, because we need to create you a Hive account using that same seed phrase, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that
So
would work. I don't see why that wouldn't work though, as long as we
yeah,
can.
because I'm thinking like the thing with a key store file, which key store is one of the best band-aids I've ever used. You know, it is a kind of a band-aid for like chains that don't really do this kind of stuff that we need, like the Web3 stuff. But like, say, I would much rather use just an extension wallet to just click sign in than to open up a text file somewhere on my computer and then enter the password and do that stuff. And so if you just import your key stores, seed phrase, etc., into say the control wallet or another extension wallet, then there you go. It just gets right in. One thing I've kind of realized as a side tangent, and this is the last, and I apologize to all the listeners who were like, why are these guys getting into like private key theory and stuff? But one of the last things, there's always a conversation about standards, about how what standards crop up around how you do things. And a lot of times the best standard doesn't always win out necessarily. It's just the one that gets the most adoption and stuff. People complain about seed phrases all the time. I have to say, I like seed phrases personally. I think that they're not 100% the most intuitive always, but they're very solid. And here's the thing: I do think that seed phrases have become the standard, and we can't get rid of them. And here's an example, right? Um, so the Tangent wallet, which is a hardware wallet that I appreciate, uh, their hardware wallet is a pack of 2 to 3 NFC cards. And so it's a mobile only. So you have the app on your phone and you just go beep, you just tap, and then enter your password and you can send funds. And it's just that easy. And typically they did not come with a seed phrase option at all because the private keys are only stored on that physical card, on those physical cards, I guess. And so, but over time, they did eventually have to add a seed phrase option because everyone's like, well, I want to import my Trezor's, stuff and start using this instead. How do I do that? And it's like, oh, okay, there. Or they're like, well, I don't trust, what if all my mobile phones break and I can't do NFC on my desktop or whatever? I need to be able to get this into a different wallet. How do I do that? I guess you need a seed phrase. And so they're stuck there. And on the other side, I've been sort of playing around with Multisig a little bit, and Multisig on paper sounds perfect and amazing because instead of a seed phrase, you just install the app on multiple devices and you need like 2 of 3 to sign a transaction or whatever. You just confirm on your desktop. It's just super intuitive. However, in practice, the way it's worked out is first of all, I don't know how that translates to and from seed phrase wallets. Like what if I have funds in one, I want to move it to another. Apparently I have to send a transaction, which if you're using Bitcoin or Ethereum, that's going to cost you. And then also you do still have to save backup files of like your vault shares or something like that. And every time you add a new device, you have to like go back there. And I'm just like, okay, well, I would have rather just use a seed phrase, guys. Like it's it's kind of that standard, that crypto standard, and like 95% of crypto uses a seed phrase. And in my opinion, this is in bring it back to Hive. This is one of those barriers to Steam and then Hive adoption is this weird, unfamiliar, big jumble of keys you have to then figure out how to back up. In my mind, I know how to write down a seed phrase and I know how to do it safely and securely. And to learn a whole new different thing, I just don't want to use that. People do that. But the key store thing, which thankfully INLEO kind of brought to the Hive ecosystem, is it brought 12 to 24 word recovery phrases to Hive. So now Hive is back on that global standard and people can just, it's kind of with the rest. And I think that that's going to, even people that don't care about Dash or the other tokens that are supported for cash in, cash out, I think that just being able to use Hive through a seed phrase type setup, seed phrase recovery for Hive, I think could onboard a lot of new people that were like, oh, I didn't know I could do it this way. This is way better than the other way, just because they're more familiar. I don't know if you agree with that or if this is just a personal rant right there.
Yeah, I agree that, seed phrase is kind of like the what was I thinking of in terms of a analogy for that? Kind of like honestly, like, the difference between like early days, especially of like writing something in like Microsoft Word versus like writing it out on a piece of paper. Like it's a tried and true, like that if you're writing something on a piece of paper, it's not gonna your computer's not gonna like turn off and you're gonna lose it. Obviously now you have, cloud and it's a lot harder to lose something. But maybe if you're doing a draft on the early days of INLEO, you would have lost it half the time, which sucked. But if you were writing something on a piece of paper, it's like a tried and true method. You grew up writing on paper, like that I'm writing this on paper. I'm not going to lose it unless I like throw this paper into a fireplace. Um,
Yeah.
so I would kind of look at seed phrases in a similar way, where it's like the old school, tried and true method of storing a crypto account and crypto wallets. And if you follow the best practices, your ability to lose access is a lot lower than even the current methods that are out there. Even people who use I know plenty of people who've used MetaMask and other things, and they've lost their keys. And people that have used Hive accounts in the past and they've lost they lost their master password. Yeah, Joel
Right.
is a good example. When we were talking in Croatia, we were trying to figure out how to get you your old keys back because you didn't have them anymore, just because you weren't active for a long time. But if you had a
Yeah.
seed phrase that you wrote down and stored it under your mattress, you could have gone home from Croatia, grabbed that seed phrase, and said, "Hey, I still have this," and then you could have plugged it in, and then you could have gotten all your keys back. Um,
Yeah. Although I have to say my new Desert Linux account is like way more stuff on it now. It's way more active than all my Steam Days account combined. So it's like it's not a huge loss at this point. But yeah, that is kind of the thing about like the backups. How do you back up for self custody? I think is a huge thing. Um, and as a random side note, I love crypto wallets that will show you your seed phrase if you want, and not just at the beginning. So, like for example, there have been a few times where I've backed up a wallet, and then I was like a year later, I'm just like, did I back this one up yet? I don't remember and then I open the wallet and then enter my password and get to my seed phrase, and I'm like, oh yeah, that matches the one that's in my thing here. Okay, I did back it up. Or sometimes you don't back it up at the time of, and then you're just like, I need to back it up now because I forgot to, and my phone's about to die. But also, I love seed phrase checkers, like Trezor has, for example. You can enter your seed phrase into their app and then just say, is this the right one? And then yes, because what if you write down a word wrong or something, and then you're just like, all right, I'm fine. And then years later, you just can't get all your money. It can be like scary territory there.
yeah, yeah. I think the key stores are definitely the best. They're the best login method I've seen for Hive. I just can't say that enough. I think it's just so plain as day to me. Um, but yeah, you've got me thinking about this control wallet thing now. I already made a note about it
Yeah.
because I do think it's possible. I just have to look a little bit deeper, but I don't see why it wouldn't be. The main thing is the willingness of a user to say, okay, I want to log into or sign up and log into INLEO, but now you can't just click a button with control wallet. You have to actually import your original seed phrase to derive that new
Yeah.
account.
That's not that bad because it's like transitioning people over. Like, um, it's just like the Hive, the keychain. Like, there's someone commenting there about like, can I still do the pay with Dash if I got the original keychain stuff? And of course, the answer is right now, no. We're working on it. Um, each new iteration is easier, right? As far as like, and you hopefully get a wave of users on that newer, better way of signing in. The thing is, what happens to the old ones? As long as there's a I wouldn't say it's an afterthought. It's a secondary concern, though, where like, how do you upgrade those people to the new thing? But at the same time, it is still kind of a concern. So, like, if most people just say, "Hey, I already got my own MetaMask or Control Wallet or whatever," and I just sign in, and it just associates Hive keys with it, and I'm good to go. That's easy. And it just that, well, I had a key store before, and now I got to upgrade. That's where it gets a little bit more annoying. But as long as you can do it, you'd be surprised at like how many people get left behind by older versions of tech. As far as hey, I never like my last little anecdote, I guess, is I had a friend in the last year who just says, "Hey, um, I want to cash out some of my crypto from the early days and like buy some property with it. However, I can't figure out this thing because I backed it up on a paper wallet because that's what was the standard back in the day. That was like this is the all the hardcores are doing on a paper wallet because it's offline. And paper wallets scared the crap out of me, so I never used them, you know. But he had a paper wallet for Ethereum. And Bitcoin is old school, of course, but Ethereum didn't even have a paper wallet, a wallet that supported sweeping paper wallets like in wide use today. And so I had to figure out how to get this guy a recovery option. But we ended up getting it done. But the point is, like, back in his day, he did the thing that you're supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, whoops, you're left behind. So, you know,
Yeah, especially with something that's just moving as fast as the crypto industry, it's so easy to get left behind. I mean, there's a new thing every day, essentially. So it's it's easy to get left behind. We definitely need like more robust ways to keep people around.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so but yeah, this control wallet thing is interesting. I'm thinking about it. And
Hmm.
if we were able to pull this off, I also, I've talked to Emil before on the podcast, founder of Control. Um, and yeah, I think we would be able to get Hive and Hive assets actually listed in the Control wallet, if you're signed in with, on INLEO, for example. So that could be another
That could
potential
be
avenue.
really cool.
Yeah,
If you need any intros to the control team, I'm pretty close with them, so I'll help you chat with them. They're good people.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his
Surprisingly
name was
nice for
Will
French
on
people,
the
you
chain
know.
chatter. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice, very forward thinking.
Yeah, and so the other one is Vultisig I've been talking about. They have a browser extension version called VultiConnect, and I need to
Okay.
try it out, but it does support Dash, so that would be like another one. So it could be this problem that we had to solve with Keystore ends up being like kind of obsoleted in a little bit. But at the same time, I think that Keystore is like a great whoever invented Keystore as like a workaround for all
It's
this stuff is
genius.
like a genius. It's just
Yeah.
like, and I get that it looks a little ghetto for some people that are just used to just the Web3 extension, click, click, click. But just the way it like binds the universe together of cryptos that it just it's my perfect kind of an elegant solution that's super easy to something that could be massive technically challenging problems, which is old school non-programmatic cryptos that are trying to enter this weird new DeFi age. Um, so yeah, and all this like complicated stuff. I get for the end user who just needs to know, I need to write down my 12 words or I need to whatever, and that's it. It should not matter. But for people who are in crypto for any multiples of years as a power user, I love this stuff because it helps me understand. how crypto works, how private keys work, how all this stuff works. And just like the seed phrase is your master password thing. It's like, oh, okay, I kind of understand how that works better and how you can associate things. And a key store is just an encrypted file that lets you access your seed phrase, and your seed phrase is just this. And yeah, just the it really is very fascinating once you get to like uh, if you ever get to a situation where you have there's a wallet that only supports 12 word uh, seed phrases, but you got 24 words or vice versa. There are some conversion tools that like because it's the same packet of keys that are under there. And so there's a conversion tool that can convert one into another. So like for example, uh if you have like a 12 if you have a Dash Pay wallet, 12 words, right? And then you want to import it into your Trezor instead, that's 24 words. There are tools that let you change things like that. And I'm sure you could also then take that and turn it into a key store file and then et cetera, et cetera. So it's just kind of fun to see all the just kind of the get into the guts of how crypto works. You know, it helps every bit of understanding helps make stuff easier in certain situations.
Right.
So nerd
Yeah.
out, guys.
Yeah, nerding out on key stores and seed phrases and private keys. Yeah, I think I think us, of tackling this key store seed phrase thing, it has been kind of like a floodgates moment where, things like Control Wallet become, tackleable for us because, essentially if we can just reverse engineer the seed phrase, we're always going to be able to integrate really anything that uses a seed phrase. So, there's plenty of things out
Hmm.
there that use a seed phrase, and kind of like OG MetaMask was always seed phrase based. So I know that a lot of other solutions have come out since then, but um, like I said, even if someone has a master password on Hive, that's what we've been tackling recently. I think we've been able to kind of figure out, okay, well, if we can essentially create an algorithm that can generate a predictable seed phrase from a master password, then we're able to like reverse engineer a key store into a Hive wallet, um, without the user having to change anything. So, so yeah, I mean, if we're able to solve that, then, just one problem at a time, I think we're able to just keep going with these integrations, which just means, any crypto person in the world that has any kind of wallet should be able to come to INLEO and earn in their preferred crypto, pay in their preferred crypto, and just use Web3 the way it's intended, which is to be as easy as Web2, but then have immutability on their content, be able to buy and earn in whatever crypto they want, so they can be unbanked, um, and all these other different features to monetize their Web3 presence. So I think we're well on our way. I think that the new features we just rolled out for Dash, with the one-click swaps, with the Dash wallet, with cashing out, with buying premium with Dash, we're
Hmm.
orders of magnitude ahead of where we were, say a year ago, in terms of user experience, user friendliness, and optionality. So I'm really happy with how things have been going. I think most people on Hive have started to see the light in terms of the vision of INLEO and kind of bringing all these multi-chain things together. I mean, it's been a long journey of, working with the Maya team to get Leo there, getting Leo Dex built, talking with you and getting Dash integrated. But we've made it in a lot of ways, and I'm excited to see where 2025 takes us, in that capacity. But with that, we've been chatting for about an hour and a half. Do you have any closing thoughts for the people before we let them go?
Um, just to cure, I got just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Someone on Discord did a comment who said he's having trouble getting. He says so he can't find the cash out to dash option anywhere, and he um signed up with a key store, um, and he just can't figure it out. And I'm mentioning he needs to activate the dash theme. And so is that first off, that's correct, right? You can sign up with the Dash key store. And if you don't select the Dash theme, you should not have a cash out to Dash option, right?
Yeah, that's the way it's intended to work. Are you talking
Yes.
about, I don't know if you want to mention that, but are you talking about Dash Italia?
No. someone else,
Oh,
but
okay. Because Dash
someone from the
Italia
same
opened a
source.
ticket. Interesting. Because Dash Italia opened up a support ticket, and I was actually just chatting with him like an hour ago. Um, but he did the thing we were just talking about where he took his master, the seed phrase, and then used it for his master password on Hive keychain. So he downloaded Hive keychain and then took his seed phrase that we gave him with the Keystore wallet, and then he plugged it in, and now he was signed in with Hive keychain, and he couldn't see his Dash cash out option.
Mm,
And the reason was because he signed in with Hive keychain. So all he had to do was log out and then sign back in with Keystore. Um,
yeah, that
in
makes
order to
sense
see
to
it
me.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
So I
this
don't know if this is
case,
a similar situation, but
um,
I'm not sure about the theme. I can actually test that while we're let me do a
so you would go into
live beta.
settings and then just all on the color theme. I
Change
think
it.
that you would just change the color to the Dash color. That has the Dash logo on it, and it should all be there. Again, if you are logged in with the Dash with your Keystore wallet and not some other thing.
Yeah, let me see. Take me just 1 second here.
Yeah, a killer app would be a AI chatbot for INLEO that also insults you if you make them go through too many support queries. Say like, "What are you, stupid?" That'd be
That's
fun.
funny. That
People
would
would
be
be
fun.
posting screenshots all over the place of that. Be like,
Yeah,
"Thing
with
just
Leo
called my mother a
AI,
whore. What the hell?"
definitely is possible. Um, let's see here. So I'm on the Dash theme. I'm going to change it. Click save. It's an interesting This might be an interesting little edge case that they found if it works. Just waiting for this to
Yes.
upload.
So yeah, I would try to do switch to the Dash theme under settings, the color, in settings. And you could change your color, your theme if you don't have premium, correct?
Yeah, there's just extra
Okay.
themes if you do
Okay.
have premium. So I just changed my theme and I can still see it.
Yeah. Um, well,
So he
he requested to join he says he already has the Dash color. Does the cash out button just not exist if you don't have anything to cash out?
No, it still shows even if you have nothing. Like I'm on a wallet right now that has nothing to cash
Hmm.
out, but it shows. My question would be, so he is
He's
100% for
on
sure
the Dash
signed in with a
theme.
key store.
Um,
He
are
didn't he
you
didn't Yeah, he didn't like sign in with keychain or something.
just re-asking that? Although he's listening to the thing, he requested to speak on X. I don't know if that messes up our setup though. If we do the X space, if we try to speak,
Um,
but
it
but
does kind of mess it up, to be honest,
yeah, that's fine.
just because we're listening to each other on Zoom.
Is that there's no key store? Is that no key store or no comma key store? The funny stuff that
Live
you
feedback.
the funny thing, like punctuation is like everything. Okay, yes, he used key store. Okay, well, it might seem like an the JSON file thing. It might seem like this is just like an edge case in this case, um, to be
Yeah, I would
debugged.
love to try to figure out why that's happening to him because I can't think of if he's logged in with Keystore, he's going to the dashboard and he doesn't see dash rewards at the top. Is that correct?
Um, it does. So from the screenshot I'm seeing, in the wallet. Now you
Oh, he
would see
needs
the
to go to the
cache.
dashboard.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So under the more, right next to the publish button on the front, under the more, the three dots, you go there, and up at the top, there's the dashboard. You click on
Yep.
that, and it should show all your stuff. I do have a cash out option for my subscriptions, for example, even though I'm pure keychain. I'm not
Right.
very
So
dashy
if
here.
you're Yeah, so since you're keychain, you have a cash out for your subscriptions, but you don't have a cash out for Dash because you're not
Yes.
key store. So if I'll send a screenshot of what it looks like if you're on a key store. Sec.
Yeah. Let's see if he figures it out.
Yeah, so I think he's just in the wrong place is uh is all. Back into a keychain wallet. And all right, so that's what it looks like. If you're a key store logged in user, I posted in the threadcast. B, however, said we need the dashboard merged with the wallet and presented in the tree option for easy access. I don't know that I agree with that. I think maybe we should add a button to take you to the dashboard if you like click cash out from the wallet. But there's a reason why we put all this stuff in the dashboard. It's meant to be like if you want to cash out, if you want to see your
Hmm.
earnings, your subscriber data, your delegation, etc. That's all
Hmm.
meant to live in the dashboard. It's intended to be that way. But maybe we need to just add a button that redirects you back to the dashboard from the wallet if you're like looking at your rewards. Um,
Yeah. Well, we did pass 300 comments, and I wonder how many people are hating their life right now because they're listening to live tech support questions.
Yeah, maybe we just need a cash out. Maybe you can just say like you have, XYZ. Maybe what we should do is when you've got enough to cash out, because the minimum cash out's like 0.25 dash. So maybe when you've got enough to do the minimum cash out, um, it'll pop something up in your wallet that says, you know, cash out your pending rewards now. And then
Yes.
it'll redirect you to the dashboard to cash them out.
Well,
That might be what
that's
we need to
something
do.
that when I want to chat about offline about is about getting non-Hive and Leo stuff into the wallet portion of things. That could be cool.
Like dash
Yeah.
assets and yeah.
Anyway,
I think in theory it should be doable. In theory it should be doable.
okay, someone's saying when Dash Moon. I think that's like that's how you know the stream is dead when you start hitting those kinds of things. Yep, he figured it out. Okay, we solved the tech support. He says,
Cool.
"Ah, there it is. Cool." Looking at the
Yeah.
wrong
Yeah, I
place.
mean it's and I'm seeing people saying that it needs to be in the wallet. I mean there's a dozen reasons why it's not in the wallet and won't be in the wallet. If we add something to the wallet, it'll redirect you to the dashboard. It has to be in the dashboard for many reasons. So
Hmm. Yeah,
so
just
yeah, I
maybe
think
an extra link might be nice.
just an extra link. Yeah, just a redundant link in case someone's like looking in the wallet, wondering where it is. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, anything else you want to cover before we jump off of here?
I think that's it. Just people need to know that taxation is theft. Once they know that, I think my work here is done.
Yeah, love it. Well, thanks for joining me. It's been a great episode. I think we covered a lot of ground, came up with possibly some new integrations that we'll see added to INLEO. So I love the live brainstorming. I love the live tech support. Um, and yeah, we'll just keep pushing forward. I've been seeing a lot of really good activity from Dash users, so I definitely just want to see that grow, especially with all these new features that enable all the cross-chain payments that we were waiting for. So yeah, definitely just excited to keep pushing
Yeah,
forward.
for sure. Sounds good. Yeah, well, cheers on
Great.
this. And thanks everyone for watching through our stuff and for learning about how keys work and everything.
Absolutely.
Someone said
All
I
right,
could be
thanks,
funny.
guys.
Yeah.